Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome to the very first episode of the Oakland Athletics franchise here on MLB The Show 24. It's midnight release, which means we are going to kick this series off and waste no time getting back into some baseball here on the channel. It's been 6 long months since we've had any sort of baseball series on the channel, and I'm excited to bring it to you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're excited for this series, make sure you drop that like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more baseball content as we make this the biggest baseball series and most realistic baseball series on YouTube. Now, if you watch the team intro, we are doing the Oakland Athletics this year. We are going for the full-on rebuild. We are going to go worst to first this year as we take the worst team in baseball to hopefully another championship, because it's been a long time for the A's since they've won a World Series title, one of the most winningest teams actually in baseball history, and I don't think there could be a team farther from the bottom, as the Oakland Athletics are really just all over the place. Their roster sucks. You can see the stats on the screen. The highest thing they have is 10th in speed. Everything else is bottom 3 minus power, and they don't even know where they're going to be, and I think that's another reason why I picked these Athletics. Do they stay in Oakland? I mean, right now it looks like they're going to Las Vegas, but that's not a done deal. And in this series, we'll find out what happens with the Athletics. Do they stay in Oakland? Do they go to Las Vegas? As this series unfolds, there will be twists, there will be turns, and we'll see where the Athletics end up. But let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into the series. Today is episode number 1. We're going to meet the team, set up the roster, and bring you guys opening day in the next one. So let's not waste any more time. We're picking the Oakland Athletics for our series. All right, so we've arrived here at the franchise mode main menu. It looks a little different this year. Not sure if I'm the biggest fan of it yet, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and meet the Athletics. This is not a good roster. As you can see at the top, our top-rated player is a 78 overall. We got a couple of them, but there's not a lot to this team. We're going to go through each individual position, just kind of meet the players. Starting off with starting pitching, we have 277 overalls. The first one being age 30 in Paul Blackburn. Blackburn is a reliable pitcher for the Athletics. He just has a hard time staying healthy. He has a very good breaking ball, but you can see last year he only pitched in 103 and 2/3 innings. The year before that, 111. The year before that, 38. So he's never really had a full-on season, so to speak. But, I mean, when he's healthy, he's got a nasty breaking ball, and his stats across the board aren't all that bad. So we just got to keep Paul Blackburn healthy. He will be the opening day pitcher for this Athletic squad. Behind him, we have Alex Wood, a guy who's very familiar with the Bay Area. Spent last year with the San Francisco Giants, a 4.33 ERA. It's kind of the trend here with these Athletics pitchers. There's a lot of 4s in the ERAs from the season ago, as they're just looking to fill spots and hopefully get some of these young guys into the rotation at some points. He's only on a 1-year contract, so I don't expect Alex Wood to be a long-term piece of this series, but kind of like Blackburn, he's got good break on his pitches, so we'll see what we can do with that. Behind him, we have the 28-year-old J.P. Sears, who came over in the Frankie Montas and Lou Trevino trade a couple of years ago with the Yankees. He was the only starting pitcher last year for the Athletics to go over 30 starts. 4.54 ERA, again, another one in the 4, but, you know, he's one of the younger pitchers on this staff. Yes, 28 doesn't seem overly young, but when your top 2 guys are 30+, it makes it a little bit better. Lefty from South Carolina, go USC. That's the state I'm from, in case you didn't know. So he will probably be around for a little bit. I mean, you got team control for quite some time, considering he only has 1 year MLB service and only 1 minor league option. So he's going to be another guy in the rotation. Then behind him, we got Ross Stripling, who was a late addition to this squad. He actually came over last month as well from the San Francisco Giants. He was a big 2-year signing for them last year, has not panned out. Now he's only a 69 overall at 34 years old. He's really going to regress. I mean, the A's just got him just to fill a rotation spot. I mean, $12.5 million for a season. That's a terrible contract for him, so don't expect it to last long out here in the Bay Area. Then after him, our 5th pitcher is Hogan Harris, a 27-year-old, 66 overall C potential, who has very minimal time in the majors. He made 6 starts for us last year in 63 innings. Not the best showing for him. But when you're the Oakland Athletics, you need players to fill out the rotation. So not much to choose from. Hogan Harris is there. Waldichuk is another guy, but he's currently hurt for 4 to 5 months with a flexor strain, the same injury he dealt with last year. He also came over in that trade with J.P. Sears a couple of years ago. But another pitcher who's, decent. He's got beat potential, so he's one of our higher potential pitchers. But he just can't stay healthy. As you can see, we won't see him for the majority of this season. We're not going to go too much into the minor league pitchers today, just because I will touch on them when we get to the minor league episodes, because we'll be focusing on the minor league teams in this series. But Joe Boyle's a guy to look out for, JT Ginn, Luis Medina, just to name a few. In the bullpen, also not very impressive. The top guy is Zach Jackson, 76 overall, 29 years old. He is very good at limiting the hits, but he's really, really bad at limiting the base runners. You can see that 33 walks per nine is a little concerning, but he's been reliable. 2.50 ERA in the bullpen last year in his 18 innings pitched. So maybe he can be a little bit. He also dealt with a flexor strain last year, the same injury that Ken Waldichuk has now. But he's going to be our go-to guy in the bullpen just because, 1, 76 is our best. And 2, as long as we can limit the walks, he should be okay. Behind him, the only other 70 guy we have in the relief pitcher spot is Scott Alexander, 34-year-old, who spent also the last 2 years with the San Francisco Giants. So a lot of guys just coming across the bay here to Oakland. 4.66 ERA, another guy who's just going to be asked to just eat up innings for us, not under contract next year. And I always like having at least one lefty in the bullpen just for those favorable matchups. Next guy behind him is probably the most interesting. Only a 67 overall, but Mason Miller at 25 years old has probably one of the highest potentials for this team. He looked pretty good last year, 3.78 ERA. He could be a potential ace for this team because you can see he has 70 stamina, so he has the stamina to be a starting pitcher, but he has some injury history, and the Oakland front office has made it known that he's going to spend all of this year in the bullpen, so don't expect to see Mason Miller be a starter this year. You want to make sure his health is there first, and if he can stay healthy this year, then I want to move him into the rotation, but we got to preserve his long-term health, and if that means keeping him as a reliever and even potentially the closer this year, that's what we got to do. Then there's another veteran behind him, Trevor Gotts, who was brought over as another veteran. He's kind of bounced around the league. He was with the Brewers, the Nationals, the Giants, just there to fill out the rotation or the bullpen, which for the early portion of this series, that's what the Oakland Athletics bullpen is going to look like. We're just going to see a lot of veterans just kind of signed to one-year contracts to potentially fill some spots. Some other guys, Mitch Spence came over in the Rule 5 draft, so 55 overall is not very pretty. But 25 years old, if we want to keep him on the team, he has to stay on for the whole season. So we'll see some Mitch Spence this year. And then Sean Newcomb, who looks like is on waivers, is also there, but not sure how much that's going to last because that is an ugly stat line. And the closing pitcher is Lucas Urkeg, who is listed as the closer. I don't know if he will actually be the closer. 66 overall is not really what I want as a closer. I'd feel more inclined to put that spot on Zach Jackson or Mason Miller, but we'll see some Urkeg as well in the bullpen. He actually used to be a hitter, which I don't know why it doesn't show there, but so that's an interesting story, but he will be another guy in that bullpen. He's got great heat. You can see 99 velocity. Fastball could potentially touch the hundreds. All his pitches are fast, but again, 31 walks per nine is not something to hang your hat on. Then we go to the hitters. We'll start off with the catcher, which is probably a more promising position of this team. Shea Langeliers leads the way, 74 overall. He's got beat potential. He definitely showed last year that he is a big leaguer. The average wasn't good. He's kind of developed a more just do or die kind of batting style, which is not ideal, as he hit 22 homers but only hit 205 average. If he can kind of straighten that out a little bit, I think he could really unlock his potential. But you can see the contacts are a little low. Only 26 years old, though. He's still got plenty of time to grow into that beat potential rating. But if we can just bring those contact stats up a little bit, that vision, he could be an overall solid player. Right now, he just provides some pop. Behind him, though, is another interesting player, a potential catcher in Tyler Soderstrom. Now, if we didn't have Shea Langeliers, this would be Soderstrom's position for the future, which it still could be. But at least Soderstrom does have some flexibility. He could also play first base. He could also play some corner outfield, and we'll see him do a lot of that this year. A little bit more rounded than Langeliers. You could say maybe batting-wise, he maybe even be better than Shea. He hit only 160 though last year in his 125 AB, so it wasn't pretty. He made his debut last year at July 14th and stuck with the team. But, 22 years old, A potential for a team like the Athletics, that is something to watch out for. Behind him, there's also Carlos Perez, who's a backup catcher. He hit 226 with the Athletics last year. He would kind of float, I would think, between the majors and the minors. He still has an option left, but right now he is that third string emergency catcher. At first base, we have Ryan Noda, who's 72 overall, B potential at 28 years old. Very good discipline. You will see him at the top of the lineup for most of this year. He bats lefty. He will be hitting probably 229. Yes, is not the best leadoff hitter, but he had a pretty good rookie year, all things considered. So expect to see him towards the top of the lineup. At second base, Zach Geloff is another guy. He's another building block. Soderstrom, Langoliers, and I would say Geloff are three of the main keys on this offense for the future. He's 78 overall at only 24 years old. Very good at hitting righties off the rip, which is good because he's a right-handed hitter. So it's usually the side that you don't see, but he's already kind of got that down pat. He had 267 last year, which actually led our team in 270 ABs. MLB.com actually has him listed as the 9th best second baseman in all of baseball. So bright future for Geloff. He just needs to do a little bit better against lefties, but he is going to be a cornerstone for this team once we get back into the winning ways. At third base, Abraham Toro. He was a late acquisition this offseason from the Milwaukee Brewers, just to kind of fill a third base spot. He only played in 9 games for them last year. He has a lot of experience, though, in the AL West. He played for the Mariners for a season, and then he was a part of the Astros back early on in his career. Has never really found his footing as a hitter, but he has some experience to this division. Rounding out the infield is Nick Allen. He's at the shortstop position. He's another younger player, not quite as far along as Soderstrom and Geloff, so to speak. Not quite as high potential as well, but another guy who could contribute early. He's a little bit better at hitting lefties than Geloff is, but obviously lacks a little bit in the righty department. A very good defender. He just has to come around on that offensive side of things, as he only hit 221 last year and 303 ABs. But Allen will be that shortstop right now. There's also Logan Davidson in the minors. I can see him getting some action. There's also veteran Eledmis Diaz, who is one of the more longer tenured guys on this team, considering he's only been on the team for 2 years. Spent all that time with the Astros beforehand. So another guy who's very familiar with the AL West. He can play a majority of positions. He's one of those guys that's like a good veteran just to have on the team. He won a World Series back in 2022. He can help some of these young guys like Geloff and Allen potentially progress in the locker room. So I'm okay having Diaz around for the short term. There's also rookie Daryl Hernandez, who will start the year on the Major League Club. I don't know if he will stay on the Major League Club because I don't know if he's quite ready for the majors, but when you don't have any talent, that's kind of what happens. Sometimes these prospects might get called up a little early, and it's kind of sink or swim for them. And I don't want to hurt his progress because he's only 22 years old. He's got an okay contact bat right now, but if he starts to struggle early, he might get swapped down early because I don't want to hurt his long-term future. At left field, there's Seth Brown, who's one of the better hitters on this team, but he only played in 112 games last year. A good solid lefty bat who can hit righties well, but I need to see him stay healthy. 14 home runs in 112 games. He had 25 the year before that. 52 RBIs in only those 112 games as well. I just want to see Brown stay healthy because I think he could be who we need to step on this offense for the short term. He just can't seem to stay healthy. Also in left field, you got Miguel Andujar, who is not a future player. He's very good on offense, though, considering his contact is pretty good for a 66 overall, as he spent last year with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And we got him for a couple of more years on team control, but he's already 29 years old, so already on the old side. Center field, we'll see Esteury Ruiz, who set the AL record last year in his rookie season with 67 stolen bases. Yes, he broke Kenny Lofton's record that stood for quite some time, so very much a threat on the base pass. And he hit 254 as well, so he can get on base, he can hit for contact, and you can see those ratings on the right side. I'm excited for that. I want to turn Esteury Ruiz loose. He's going to man center field. He can also play a lot of positions. This is a guy who has a lot of flexibility for this team, and he could be kind of that fill-in-the-gap kind of player while others like Geloff and Soderstrom and Langoliers and maybe even Allen step up on offense. So Esteury's a very valuable team player. In the right field, Brett Rooker mans that spot. He's arguably our best player. He was our lone All-Star a season ago. He basically led the team in all stats: 30 home runs, 69 RBIs, which is a team lead, which is kind of sad as well that 69 RBIs is the team lead. But nonetheless, he was our lone All-Star representative. He'll be batting in the middle of the order. He's got a very strong bat. You need him to anchor this lineup. And then finally at right field, Lawrence Butler's also there. He's had a hard time transitioning to the major leagues. He's always been a very good minor league hitter, but last year only hit 211 in 123 ABs. So I want to see some of that minor league consistency start to translate to the majors. But he's only 23 years old. And that is your Oakland Athletics. We've met all the players. Let me know in the comment section below, who are you excited to see? Who do you think is a long-term piece? And give your honest opinion as to what this record of this team may be. You can see I don't expect us to be good. We are currently, you can see your strategy is rebuilding. So a lot of these guys that we talked about today might not even be on the team in the long term. So let me know what you think of your Oakland Athletics. So now that we've met the Oakland Athletics, next episode will be opening day, as we'll kick off the 2024 season with a 4-game homestand against the Cleveland Guardians. Usually my formatting for these series is I play 2 games an episode, 1 game per series, so get about roughly a week done per season. Now, if this team starts to underperform like I think they will, we might start to speed up the year, because I do want to get through multiple seasons. I've never got through more than 2, but I'm anticipating doing more of that. We'll also see the minor league teams at some point. It looks like they also kick off their seasons at about the same time as us, so that's kind of exciting. And we'll keep a look at our AA Midland Rockhounds and our Las Vegas Aviators as well, considering Las Vegas could be a potential home for the Major League Club. So that'll be exciting. But next episode will be opening day. We'll see Paul Blackburn play against Tanner Beebe. We're only going to do the opening day series next episode. And yeah, I'm excited for that. Hope you guys are excited for this series as well. I cannot wait to bring this to you guys. If you're excited for this one, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below. The support you guys have given to my other 2 series currently have been amazing, and I really want to get this baseball going. So thank you guys. Don't forget to show your supports by hitting that notification bell so you don't miss a single post. As well, follow me on Twitter if you want to stay up to date with me. That's the best way to kind of interact with me one-on-one. And then I also have my Cash App down below, as well as, you can just comment, say hey if you want to. But that's going to do it for this one. Opening day will be later today, considering this is going up past midnight. I will have opening day later, but I'm going to get some sleep, and we'll kick off the baseball grind. But this is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.